good afternoon, good evening, good morning, I don't know, whatever it is where you are in the world. It is Duckville here. We're going to have a look at a Zerg versus Zerg today. This is going to be a bit of a feature cast, not this particular player, well actually for once, it's not going to be this particular player in red, just up here as the Zerg. It is Liquid Ret. The player we're going to specifically be having a look at today is in Team Immunity's Mafia, who's down the bottom here. He is an Australian player, of course, really tearing up on the Korean ladder with his Zerg play. He's actually into Grandmaster rank on the Korean server. That's obviously nothing to shake the sauce bottle at all. And yeah, he's been really doing well. And obviously the reason that we're going to be looking at Mafia here today is because we've got the Australian Nationals for the Blizzard World Championship Series coming up in August. It'll be happening on August 11 and 12. Or we've sort of got a combination of the Australian Nationals and then also the Oceanic Naturals, or Oceania, whatever it's called, something to do with the ocean. Is also going on that weekend as well. But of course Mafia will be playing in the Australian Nationals there, and hopefully he'll do really well. He's, as we said, a very quality player. This match is actually taken from the TSL number 4 qualifiers. We can see that Ret is going to pick up that 15 pull straight away. Mafia, meanwhile, looks as if he is going to go straight down to the natural and get his hatchery going there. Of course, both of these players very well known. Well, of course, actually, half the point of this cast, let me just be totally honest here, half the point of this cast is so that some of you guys will actually get some recognition of who Mafia is, and obviously we'll be doing some more casts of the players who will be featured in WCS Australia next month. And just so you guys can sort of understand what these players play a little bit like. So you'll probably all know Red is a bit of a macro player. He loves to get his drone count up regardless of the situation. If he could use drones to defend, he probably would, and in some cases I'm sure he has. But Mafia, a little bit of the same. He does like his macro play. He's very well known for his creep spread. If you watch the recent cast that I put up between Mafia and Marine King, you'll notice that Mafia had creep spread just everywhere on the map. He's incredible when he gets those tumors going and gets multiple tumors going. It's just really good to see. So he's a player who does like a bit of the macro game as well, and he's actually, this is the first time, well, sorry, this is the first real sort of RTS game that he's actually played as well. He's also been a professional poker player, winning a bit of money here and there, or I suppose you could have a quick look on his Wikipedia if you want to know more about that. But let's have a look at what is going to go on in this game. We've got a queen just popping out for both of these players. It looks like Ret is going to get a second as well. In fact, Mafia's queens, they aren't out just yet. He started his a little bit later, of course, because his spawning pool has only just finished up. He did get a little bit of gas out so he can get his metabolic boost, so we may see a pretty quick little ling attack perhaps from him. Obviously with the second hatch there you are able to get a few more lings out than normally would be seen, and he has been able to have a quick look and see what Red is up to. You can see that there is a hatchery going on there as well, so any sort of early ling attack is not going to be hugely beneficial to either of these players. And Red just sitting here, he's only just grabbing the gas now. He's got 2 drones in that extractor, so I'm a little bit unsure of what the plan is for now. Of course, depending on what you're going for, you don't necessarily need a lot of the gas right at the start. As a Zerg player, you can do some things with Banelings, of course. You can do some things with very early roaches, but you'll probably need a little bit more gas than what Ret has going on. But there we go, so Roach Warren going to start up here for Mafia. He's getting this Overlord spread to start off with. Really nicely done. He's got a little bit of leeway here. He can see that what's going to happen at the third if Ret decides to go for that quick third base. But of course that's very rare to see in Zerg versus Zerg, so I doubt that's going to happen. But both players are getting a few lings out. We've got Ret with a Baneling Nest also on the way. Mafia, meanwhile, has grabbed quite a few lings. He's actually, I think that's upwards of 15 or something like that. Yeah, he's got 16 on the way. There is only one Spine Crawler here to defend, and it looks as if the 2 queens on the ramp will keep Mafia at bay for now. However, they do get a little bit sidetracked coming down the ramp, getting surrounded by the lings, and it looks like the lings will actually get a couple of kills here, getting one, if not both, yes, of those Queens, and there we go. St. Bailey's coming in for the final defense, taking care of the rest of the Lings, and there we go. So Mafia starting off the game quite nicely, taking down 2 of the Queens of Ret. So Ret is going to be suffering a little bit in terms of his production right now. Of course, that means that he will be able to counterattack right now because all of those Lings from Mafia did die, but we have got a Queen prepared, some Roaches just about to pop out. There we go, a few extras there, and I think as long as Mafia can hold that ramp, he should be okay here. And yeah, it looks as if he is going to keep the Roaches there to make sure the Lings are not able to drill their way past the defenses of Mafia. And Ret, meanwhile, behind this, he's going to get a few more spine crawlers up just to make sure that he has his own adequate defenses ready to rumble. So the drone count for these guys looking not too bad for Ret. He's sitting up at 38, so that is quite nice for him. He's, of course, in fact, up to 39 now. Meanwhile, for Mafia, he's still sitting on 38. A bunch of them just popped out now, and he does have a bunch more on the way. 4 more about to pop out, picking up that extra extractor. Evo chamber also on the way. We'll have to see if he's going to continue to drone up really hard. We've got 6. There they go. A couple more about to come out, and the extra extractor is also being picked up by all of the I was about to say all of the players, but there's only 2 in the game, so both the players getting their extra extractors just to make sure they've got that gas income on the way. Of course, Ret does have his +1 to missile attacks on path just at the moment. It's just under halfway done. He's also got that Roach Warren just going now. Just waiting to see when both these guys look as if the lair for Ret is just about to finish up here. He's going to take down that neutral supply depot. You don't ever want this guy hanging around, just in case perhaps you want to move one of the spine crawlers up to defend this position here. And in fact, he is going to do that. There you go, putting it right down. You can't put it down when the supply depot's in the way. So both these guys now have their lairs done. As we can see, they are getting the Roach speed. Both of them just continuing on this very similar path here. The only real difference at the moment is that Mafia's +1 to weapons is a little bit behind for his Roaches. So as long as he doesn't sort of commit to an attack too early before that's done, he should be fine. The drone count for Mafia currently sitting at 48. Ret up at 42. So he's just starting to fall a little bit behind now as they start to really beef up that Roach production. Just looking at the Overlord spread as well, good spread for Ret here. You can see this side path here, just in case anyone wants to be a little sneaky and come around the side. We've got a few more of the Overlords just spreading out through the middle as well, and so he'll be able to see pretty much all attack paths into his base. And from Mafia's side, we got the same sort of thing, covering this little attack path here. Would perhaps like if there was another one just across to the side so we can cover this area as well, but he does have good spread through the middle, so he can see everything that is going on. And Zerg versus Zerg, one of those matchups where it is actually a little bit troublesome to get some scouting done on your opponent, which is ironic given the that recent change to the Overlord move speed, but of course with Queens out, it makes it very hard for Overlords to move through. So both these guys just clearing out the rocks now, as we can see. Ret just going to take those down now, and Mafia has already gotten rid of his, putting down some creep spread as well to make sure his units can transfer between as swiftly as possible. His third base also just about to pick up now, so Ret is going to be able to perhaps do a little bit of pressure here. He will have a slight unit advantage, as we can see. He's just a couple of Roaches up. Of course, he's got the Banes there as well, and Mafia is going to have to get ready to defend because we do have Ret just about to move in, and it looks as if Mafia is on the ball here, staying up at the top of the ramp, just making sure that he has good surface area. Wants to try and trap these Roaches in when they come up the ramp, because if they're there, there's a lot better surface area for Mafia to defend with. And as we can see, Ret is forced to retreat for the time being, but good for him, he does have his third base of his own on the way. So this has become a little bit of a passive stage for this game at the moment. Mafia getting his creep spread started, but both players just sort of sitting in a spot where, you know, they can't really attack into each other. Ret is just trying to get his economy back up to a scale where he is even with Mafia, just picking up a few more drones to try and even up that count once this third base gets going. And we'll probably see, where is it? Yes, there it is. The infestation pit for Ret is just about done, so he will have a slight advantage with his infestor count and the energy available kill on those infestors. So we'll see if that comes into play very soon. But Mafia continuing to drone up to 59 drones. Ret, meanwhile, up to 53. So he's continuing to catch up at the moment, and it looks as if the +2 weapons for both of these guys is just about to complete. Along with, we've got Mafia getting his +1 to melee, the ground armor as well. So he's going to be looking good for his upgrades. Ret is going to need to catch up with that +1 to the carapace as soon as he can. And just sort of looking, as we said, like things are just going to be very stagnant for the moment. But I do like these overlords giving a bit of creep here for the spine crawlers to sit on, and the spread for Ret looking quite good, just making sure that he's covering both of these positions here. He can see what is going on, and from his perspective, there is a big roach attack coming. As we can see, they're all marching along. They've got their +1 to weapons done. Their +2 is just about to complete. Good timing here for Mafia, getting his +2 to weapons and +1 to carapace just about done. This is actually going to sync up quite nicely. It looks as if he does have a quick poke into the side expansion there, but does not get too far with that. Looking to try and bust through here. He does get a good amount of roaches up the ramp, which means that he does have good fire control on the top of the ramp, but I don't know if he's actually going to be able to push too far through, and Ret is able to put down a couple of really good fungals there, which really help out with his defense. Of course, the fungal growth are doing extra damage to armored units, meaning these roaches will take that full damage there, and Mafia will be forced to retreat for the time being. I'm not exactly sure about heading up that side path here, but he may be able to catch out some of the infestors. Does get one, but he gets a fungal growth in return for that. He's going to have to retreat because Ret is going to have that infestor count just for the moment, but Mafia just pulling out 5 of his own. So he's about to get some fungal growth ability of his own, and there they are. We've got all 4, 5, there we go, 5 of them. It's now pushing through. Mafia trying to retreat back home. He does have a lot to contend with at his third base, but some beautiful fungals right on top of those roaches there, allowing Mafia to just clean up all of those roaches very quickly. And now he's trying to target down some of the infestors as they flee to the side, but Mafia gets surrounded in the middle, but he does have all of those reinforcements here, and with that extra to his upgrades, he's going to look very, very nicely in these engagements here. It's just a +1 to his carapace, but you know, every little bit counts, as they say, and 20 more roaches on the way for Mafia, so he's going to continue with this aggression into Ret's side of the map. He will have more and more roaches now pouring out from both players, as we can see. Mining out is the side base here. The main is just about mined out itself, so looks as if Mafia trying to split his units. As we can see, we've got some down to the left-hand side, others across to the right, pushing up into the third. Good fungal from Ret, capturing almost all of those roaches here, and he will be able to do some more damage, but is the carapace going to be a big difference here? I think it certainly helps, and some more beautiful fungals from both players. Infested Terrans being thrown up along the ramp, and looks as if Mafia may be able to push through here. It's sort of dependent on how much damage he can do with those infested Terrans, but he does lose one of his infestors. He's only got one just sitting at the back here, but he does have a lot of roaches now just coming up here. There are extras just pushing up through the map, streaming along here for Mafia. He's trying to get back in a good position here. He is in a very favorable position. As you can see, the supply count for Mafia currently sitting up at 165. He's boosting that up as swiftly as he can, and with his burrow and +2 to carapace on the way, he's going to be looking very nice for the next attack. I would probably expect to see some burrow micro from Mafia to keep those roaches alive as best as he can. What's Ret got? He's got a Hydra Den on the way. Not every day you see that, but he will be able to get some of those guys out, and they'll be able to help. Overseer just poking through, trying to see what's going on. He's going to put down a Contaminate. You don't often see that. Puts the Contaminate down on the Evo chamber, slowing down the progress of the +2 to carapace for Ret. So this will allow Mafia to get his +2 up in a slightly quicker time. As we can see, there is a bit of a delay there on the +2 for Ret, so he is going to be a little bit behind. He's not also behind in his upgrades, but also this extra little base. The 4th base has been taken here by Mafia. Ret's is just slightly behind, but here come the roach attacks. Mafia trying to do what he can. Gets a couple of fungals on top of everything here. We need some cleaning agent here because there is fungus everywhere. Spinecrawler trying to help out from the back, poking over the shoulders of the roaches, and with some infested Terrans, it looks like Mafia may be able to push through. His burrow is just about to complete, so we may see that micro coming into effect here, but no, it's not even needed. Infested Terrans tearing apart everything there. Roaches now just pushing through, and I think that'll be it for Ret because he has no real way to contend with all of this power, and there it is a GG from Ret. So great game from Mafia there. So expect to see him perform really well at WCS Australia coming up in early August. And I hope you'll all try and tune into the stream if you can. If you can't, make sure you watch some of the VODs. I'm sure they'll be available as quickly as possible. And I'll see you all next time. Cheers.